Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. You may notice something funny here, which is that I'm not ranked right now, not in the top 200. How could this be with a score of 1947, you might ask? Well, when the last patch went live, the one adding the puzzle pack and a start on internationalization and who knows what else, I don't know, something went wrong and they deleted the leaderboard. So this leaderboard was actually empty. And it doesn't automatically add players back in until you finish a game. So right now, to be in the top 200, you just have to be a Master Tier player. You can see even a rating of 1307 is good enough for 162, which is pretty funny. I kind of like this because it means that the people who've been like on the leaderboard despite not having played since 2015 are like not there anymore, and so it more closely represents people who are actually playing now. But on the whole, it doesn't super matter. Oh god, let me mute English chat. I can't even do that from the front page? Are you fucking kidding me? I can only do it from in-game. Alright, well, whatever. We'll jump into the queue here and get put back into the leaderboard, whatever happens. What, oh yeah, another bug that came up is, like, you can see every one of these games I drew against Masterbot, it's because Masterbot is broken right now. Like, a huge percentage of the time, the bots are currently playing, like, they're broken. They just say, I don't know what to do, I'm switching to Wacky Bot, who makes plays at random. And I didn't really want to count those games as, like, games against Masterbot, so I forced him to, like, agree to a draw. But he did find a pretty good one, which I let him actually keep. Here we go. This is the top level Masterbot the Meme Lord plays. Here we go. Just like turn one savior, blam, got him. I shared this one with Discord because it's a meme, but like I don't know how often we've seen Masterbot go for this play. Normally Masterbot knows better than this. Mr. Guy suggested I counter Savior, which is actually like a winning line, so I did that. And then I actually got a second Plasma Fire and 2 more drones, but I think it would have been more fun to just pass, right? Just attack for 4 and then attack for 4 again and kill him and have 0 drones left and 1 Plasma Fire. But whatever, we did this and I won that way. Kind of a funny one. Any other interesting games I played against Masterbot recently? While we're waiting to be matched up. I mean, I lost this one. This, I tried as player 1 to go for like Bloodphage Grimbotch, but Masterbot got there first as player 2 with like just mass Grimbotches. And I ended up having to build too many Rhinos, and I built some Shiver Yetis, which seems good against Grimbotch, but actually, it turns out if all of your attack is killed, then freezing Grimbotches is not really that important. Well, what else could we do while we're waiting? We could watch a live game. How about Kafiye versus X Yotsuba? Most people say Yotsuba. I don't really know what is the preferred pronunciation, so I don't know. My sort of default policy when I see stuff that's clearly not English is just to pretend that it's Spanish, and at least whether that's no guarantee that it'll be close to correct, but at least I'll be consistent and know how to pronounce it. So Yotsuba would I suppose be the most Spanish, but Yotsuba, I think, yeah. What the heck is the deal here? Probably not a Reservoir game. That's the first thing I noticed. There's just too much good attack and no good soak at all. The main question for me is whether you can get Colossus. Or whether, like, Tantalums and Botches are fast enough that that's bad. Colossus seems, I have to say, pretty ambitious. I think Tarsiers into Tantalums and Botches seems like a better plan to me. So what does that look like? DD, DC, DA, TT, I think you can fit 2 Ds after that? No, just 1, right? I think 2, as I recall. And then I can build like Botch, Tantalum. Do I have enough drones for that? So next turn DA, I'll have 12 drones and $2. That's 14. TT, DD spends all my money and gets me to 14 drones, with which I can't actually fit in any Tantalums, right? It would just be double Botch. And 2 more drones, and then I could start on Tantalums? Doesn't feel that amazing, to be honest. Is there some better build to get there? I don't know. I guess this is fine. It's gonna be a little bit tricky to work in Tantalums, so maybe I don't. Maybe I just like get walls and use my green for defense. I could consider a Reservoir, just like, but I don't really think I'm going to be accumulating much green. So my opponent wants to build 2 Botches next turn, right? Is there some way I can disrupt that? I could build a Botch here, but then my opponent's Rhino is like pretty good. And Botch Rhino is not that bad for them, I don't think. I guess I want to build what? Rhino, Botch is 9, plus a Tantalum would be 16. I can do that if I get a single NG here. And then float the 4. That seems okay. Ooh, I don't know about that Reservoir. Skipping out on 1 red attacker is a pretty big deal here, I think. They could choose here to absorb onto Rhino and attack, which I think would be good for them. Therefore, I won't allow that. I'll just build a force field. I could hold a drone, but that's worse, so I won't. Ugh, granularity issues, huh? Holding a drone here, let's see. They want to attack for 4, sort of, right? Lose this Rhino attack with both of these 2, which exploits me currently. I think holding a drone is worth doing. Yes. We're making them spend their green. Good, good, good. Again, they kind of want to attack for 4? So this drone hold is about right? Should I consider not clicking the Tantalum here? We're attacking for... because this is the turn they have a Grimbotch held back, right? We're dying for at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we're over the absorb barrier already. I should just click it. That's the wrong Grimbotch. I feel like I'm a bit low on econ here. I might actually be losing, not applying enough pressure. Before their force field business arrives. Hang on, I probably don't need a Rhino, right? Attacking for 8, this is 5, 6, 8, so they lose 1 attack here. This looks about right. Six is losing again 1 attack, unless they choose to lose, absorb badly on wall, I suppose. At any rate, it means I can just pile on the Grimbotches. You can attack for 1 more if you absorb for 1 less, but I don't think that's very good. Go ahead, I guess. I guess they want to do it. 6 is not killing any attack. 7 would be, so that would be nice, but... I should probably force field Grimbotch instead of building Rhino. Shouldn't I? Yeah. Well, I'm paying a drone now for an attack like 3 turns from now. How can that really be good? Drone hold? What? You think I can't attack for 7 or something? If I attack for 6, this is good. Oops. Oh, okay. But this is fine with me. I can attack for 7 and still do this, I think. I think they could, if they want, choose no absorb. But that, I think, is quite bad. So they're not going to do that. They'd have to also click Grimbotch, right? So. Two. So, hang on, isn't 6 the same as 7 here? No, they could absorb onto a force. Well, it is the same, right? 2, 4, 6. No, 7 is the same as 8, so it's quite good. Uh-huh. 2, 4, 6. So they're losing 2 attack here? What if they absorb onto force field? 3, 5, 6. They could lose just 1 attack. I think I'm losing. They have a lot more attack than I do as these Grimbotches wind down. Oh my god, and I didn't save an attack, an absorber. Blech. Well, what could I do? I couldn't really, right? Yeah, I just don't have enough attack to do anything anymore. I don't know, I'll stick around, we'll see. 4, 7, yeah, okay, so buy another botch, I guess. They're losing 1 attack, actually, so they're only attacking for 6. Whatever, botch is still best. Yeah, I mean, they're in a tough spot, too. I have an extra Tantalum on them, and my botches and rhinos are doing good work. Shouldn't you attack with that botch? Kills an engineer. Yeah. Alright, well, we better kill him real soon. Doesn't look like I'm going to, though. This defends, and clicking the botch doesn't even do anything. Yep. Huh. This really does not look like a Reservoir game to me. I guess I could have somehow been more aggressive and punished it, because maybe I just needed to get blue somehow. I don't know. I mean, it looks to me like on these early turns I'm doing a good job of applying pressure. I could have gambited more. For example, if I don't build this force field, to take advantage, they have to absorb onto Rhino and then click everything. I briefly considered that line, but decided that they would be happy to make such a trade. Right, I get 0 absorb in exchange for them getting just 1, but maybe they actually can't even do it, right? I should have thought about how tough a position that is. Suppose I don't build this force field, right? I just hold the drone for granularity. To make them actually attack for 4. Yeah, it's sort of... This is holding this drone instead of force fielding. Well, I did both in the game, of course, but you could consider just force fielding as an alternative. But then they'll just attack for 4 by losing Rhino, and that kind of stinks. This works against attacking for 4, and comparatively, it's like giving this drone 2 health. It's the same defense. You save a green in this way. So, can they really do this? You're in. Now what? Well, you want to build all the force fields because it's your Reservoir turn, right? And I guess a botch. But you're now not actually keeping any force fields alive, right? And so your Reservoir is going to suck. But maybe the fact that you got this big breach was enough to compensate for that. Hang on, I don't even need this, right? They're losing 3 attack. Hold... they lose 3 attack and probably 4. So they're probably only attacking for 2, so holding the drone's pretty good. Oh. I miscounted somehow. This is not their Reservoir turn. Got it. Okay. But just in order to breach, to take this gambit, they have to spend all their green on force fields right now. Right? So maybe this is fine because it just makes their Reservoir useless. They're losing probably no attack here. But probably holding back the botch. So I could consider doing this. I guess it would be more like this, right? To say to them, go ahead, click your botch, I dare you, right? Another gambit here. And it's costing them 2 health to deal 2 damage to me, basically killing this Rhino. As the Reservoir player, I feel like they want the game to be slower, not faster, so maybe they shouldn't act. They should not accept. I suppose they do. Well, the Rhino hold is free, I guess. Although you'd rather hold the botch? Yes. It's better to have a 1 stamina Rhino than a 1. Sorry. It's better to have. Well, I'm not sure actually. Would you rather have a 1 lifespan Grimbotch or a 0 stamina Rhino? The botch dies right away, so you kind of have to use it on defense, but it threatens to attack. Whereas the Rhino will never attack, but you don't have to use it on defense right away. I think you'd rather have the threat, because you'll be perfectly happy to defend with it next turn. And threatening to attack with it is still useful. So they do this. And they buy a force field for the Reservoir and a wall. And that's about all they can get, right? This is 5, 7, 8, killing no attack. Do I really want to give them this, like, well, it's basically just giving them a free Rhino hold, which is fine, I guess. Eight is these guys again. I don't know, they're sort of accumulating force fields. Yeah, 7 is actually this, right? So I guess you click the Rhino. Force field wall, and it seems like they're actually still just sort of accumulating enough force fields to be a problem for me, and I'm losing botches rather than gaining them. Huh. So it seems like this Gambit a bit more strategy was not sufficient. Is this wall necessary? Not really. You can put down another botch. Yeah, and the Reservoir is just sort of grinding me out here. I didn't get enough permanent attack. Interesting. I thought it would be really useful to put a lot of pressure on with botches, rhinos, and a tantalum. But I wasn't able to break them in time, and then once the Reservoir came around, it was sort of over, I guess. Well, I definitely still do not understand why Reservoir was any good here. Did I go too slow? Should I have skipped green entirely and just built, like, the Tarsiers a turn earlier? Right? I could have gotten DA on turn 2. I mean, I did end up only getting 1 tantalum, so maybe the green was just a trick. And I would have been better, like, say, just building Tarsiers, Botches, and Rhinos until I can afford a Blast Forge, and then put that down for walls? I don't know. It still feels like a tantalum ought to feature somehow. And it still feels like a Reservoir ought to lose. But I guess getting access to blue was a big deal. that was enabled by the reservoir. So maybe that's a way to look at this, is that I was talking about a line that just involves like Tarsiers and Botches and then eventually blue. What my opponent did is sort of like that, except that like, hey, on one turn they had green and red, so they bought a reservoir. And that enabled them to get the blue in sooner. And Botch is good enough defense, like, you don't usually think of Botch as soak, right? But it is. That is one function that Botch has. And it worked quite well for getting out the reservoirs, right? You can... You can defend on Botch on its last turn to, in a way, like, create a force field, right? Botch attacks for 3 turns and then defends for 2 normally, right? But in a game where you have a reservoir, defending for 2 is a lot like building a Tarsier, because it keeps a force field alive. So in such a game, Grimbotch is really quite useful soak, right? It's like that. This happened a lot, didn't it, in the real game, or was that just in my like analysis game? Here they actually didn't hold the Botch, which is pretty odd. Isn't it? Holding the Botch would have created a force field at the expense of a Gauss charge, right? They're attacking with the Botch, dealt 1 damage, killing my drone. Holding it would have created a force field. I think a force field is way better for them. I think they should have held this Botch, but okay, they were winning by so much they could afford to make this mistake. Anyways, there was one turn where the Botch did a great job at that, and here's another. And they actually got the Botch to go for quite a while until finally giving it up here. Okay, well, maybe next time I see Grimbotch Reservoir, I'll give it a little more respect and try it out. Look at that, rank number 50. What were we ranked before? I don't even remember. Get out of here. You dang Blitz Brawl. Starts in 15 minutes, who cares? Alright, well, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.